From around the world, there are 10 terrifying holiday creatures that creep the Yuletide season. Keep watching while waiting for Santa to come down from your chimney. By now, most everyone is familiar with Krampus, the monstrous goat/demon hybrid who throws naughty children into a sack and hauls them down into the flaming underworld, especially since Hollywood made him into a major motion picture. But not everyone is familiar with the rich wealth of Christmas horror traditions that are scattered all over Europe. From time immemorial, discouraging the naughty behavior of children has been a key preoccupation of folklorists, God-fearing sadists, and parents alike. But the truth is that Krampus isn't even close to being the most fearsome apparition we've managed to come up with. The following are just a few of the child-disemboweling hags, flesh-eating serial killers, and roving horse skulls that misbehaving kids had best go out of their way to avoid this, and every holiday season. Number 1. Frau Perkta and her tinsel entrails. Frau Perkta, the puckered, decomposedly grinning Hannibal Lecter of Eastern Europe, is one of Christmas's most thrillingly terrifying apparitions. According to an article, which is succinctly titled, "Frau Perkta is a Christmas witch who will replace your children's organs with garbage," she resembles a kind of deranged, Frankensteinian goat pieced together from various severed body parts. She's sometimes also depicted as a hag with 2 faces. Terrifying though she is, good children have nothing to fear from her, but naughty ones had best batten down the hatches. Her way of dealing with bad seeds includes slitting open their bellies, removing their organs, and replacing them with pebbles and straw. So if you wake up on Christmas morning and see intestines strung from the rafters and tree, instead of tinsel, chances are you, or some other unfortunate member of your family, has been visited by Perkta. Number 2. Jollakaturin, the child-devouring Christmas cat. Jollakaturin, the child-devouring Yule cat, comes to us from the wintry wonderland of Iceland. Though he's often depicted as being bloody-fanged, slavering, and thickly furred, he acts more like the famously hairless Sphinx cat because he's always in search of warm clothing. Legend has it that children who don't put out warm items on Christmas Eve, sweaters, socks, scarves, etc., are destined to be eaten alive. Moreover, the clothing must be new. Jollakaturin doesn't accept hand-me-downs, and he doesn't wear stinky moth-eaten coats. And if you put out milk for him, you best put out meat instead of cookies. Number 3. Grýla, the giantess who eats kids for Christmas dinner. Grýla, another Icelandic Christmas apparition of epic proportions, is almost as frightening as the child-eviscerating Frau Perkta. She's described as a giantess with cloven hooves and 13 swishing tails, one, presumably for each of her 13 ominous sons, who are known as the Yule Lads, and who are discussed in more detail below. Grýla lives deep in the mountains with her demonic brood, and only comes down to the village on Christmas, which basically serves as her hunting ground. Her prey is naughty children, whom she throws into a sack, takes back to her lair, and boils alive. Everybody deserves a succulent Christmas feast. Her palate, however, isn't limited to kids. She's also rumored to have killed and eaten her first 3 husbands because they bored her and because she felt they made better victuals than companions. Number 4. The Yule Lads, 13 Christmas poltergeist trolls. Despite their catchy name, the Yule Lads are not an indie band, but Grýla's 13 trollish sons. By most accounts, the boys are far less malevolent than their homicidal mother, but they're still destructive enough to strike fear into the hearts of most people. They include Door Slammer, who repeatedly bangs shutters in the night like an angry poltergeist, Window Peeper, who stares ominously in on children as they sleep, and Meat Hook, who steals hanging and butchered hams, a common staple in every household, with a long hook. The most frightening brother is undoubtedly Sky Gobbler, who goes straight for all-out destruction and simply devours the sky and everyone's oxygen hole. The Yule Lads usually come down the mountain every Christmas and presumably accompany their mother as she goes from house to house, kidnapping children. In some versions of the story, Jollakaturin, the child-eating Christmas cat, is even a part of the brood and stands by to do his own devouring thing as misbehaving children boil away in the family stew. Number 5. Hans Trapp, the satanic Christmas serial killer. Hans Trapp is more of an ordinary Christmas serial killer than an extravagant Christmas monster proper. Legend has it that he was a rich and unscrupulous man who was eventually excommunicated from the church. He then turned to Satanism and black magic and began to obsess about eating human flesh. As it stands now, he now travels from house to house in a scarecrow disguise every Christmas, scaring the life out of small children and drooling greedily over their tender flesh. However, in real life, that is, the real life of the legend, justice was, it said, finally done. Word on the street is that God finally struck Hans dead by frying him with a lightning bolt, thus ending his reign of child-eating horror once and for all. Number 6. Belsnickel, Christmas Eve's masked visitor. Belsnickel is a comparatively benevolent, though still frightening, figure whose aim is to dispense fairly reasonable justice rather than hellish punishment. According to this article, he's a masked figure who carries a big black sack and who announces his arrival by rapping on windows or doors early, pre-bedtime, on Christmas night. The family is then expected to let him in so he can do his thing out in the open. He apparently has toys and goodies for good children and switches for naughty ones, though being given a switch is, of course, 100% better than being boiled alive or eviscerated. Other versions of the story are much more sinister, however. Some say that Belsnickel drags naughty children into the forest, where he makes them pay for their mischievous behavior. What this punishment entails is never specified, but ignorance is bliss. Number 7. Mari Lwyd, the traveling holiday horse skull. Mari Lwyd, the dead Halloween/New Year's Eve crossover horse, is a Welsh tradition that's as festive as it is macabre. Traditionally, the ceremony went like this. On New Year's Eve, a horse's skull was mounted on a pole held by a live puppeteer who was draped with a white cloth to hide his body. The horse then traveled from door to door, trick-or-treat fashion, but here's the great part. In order to prevent it from coming into your house, you had to outweed it with rhymes. In other words, the ceremony encompassed a sort of pagan-era poetry slam contest. The horse was also frequently accompanied by merrymakers and singers, but their intention was holiday cheer rather than home invasion. The ceremony was, and still is, meant to symbolize rebirth and the triumph of life over death. Number 8. Struwwelpeter, the Christmas character that launched 1,000 bizarre childhood deaths. Struwwelpeter, aka Shock-Headed Peter, has become a household name almost on par with Edward Gorey in recent years. Originally created by psychiatrist and author Heinrich Hoffmann as a Christmas present for his son, Struwwelpeter sported huge, electrocution-lifted hair and long, pointed, talon-like fingers, which would later go on to inspire the creation of Edward Scissorhands. Struwwelpeter is mainly a kind of cautionary and bloodthirsty moralist. He stands by as children burned to death for neglecting fire safety, get their fingers severed with scissors for sucking their thumbs, and waste away, Stephen King's Thinner style, for refusing to eat their soup. Number 9. Zwart Piet, who carries off naughty children in emptied toy sacks. Zwart Piet, aka Black Peter, who hails from the Netherlands, is one of St. Nicholas's helpers. In example, he accompanies Santa on Christmas Eve toy missions, but he's there to spirit bad children away, if necessary. According to lore, he originally arrived on a ship from Spain, so some regard him as being somewhat pirate-like. Legend has it that Zwart Piet's job, specifically, was to carry naughty children off in a sack, presumably the legendary sack, after it was emptied of toys for the children who were good. Zwart Piet is, however, an increasingly controversial figure. The issue stems from his appearance, which is undeniably and disturbingly blackface-esque. Zwart Piet's defenders claim that he only looks that way because he's continually sooty from coming down so many chimneys, but that argument frankly doesn't hold up, and in any case, more and more people are taking issue with him being included in Dutch holiday festivities. Number 10. Cogatio, the Merry Holiday Poop Vlog. Everybody knows and loves Mr. Hanky, the iconic Christmas poo from South Park, but not many are aware of the rich, steaming tradition he may have been partially based on. Tio de Nadal, aka Kaka, Tio, the festive holiday poop vlog, hails from the Catalan region of Spain, and his pungent reign of merriment endures throughout the Christmas season. He isn't, however, fecal matter proper, but rather an actual log that's supposed to represent dung. In this article, he's described as a hollow log with stick legs, a smiley face, and a floppy red hat, a Yule branch with a scatological spin. The excrement log's yearly merrymaking begins on December 8th, when the Feast of the Immaculate Conception kicks off. Every day, right up until Christmas Eve, children feed the log by offering him assortments of goodies, including candy, dried fruit, and nuts. They also swaddle him in blankets to ensure that he stays warm. On December 24th, however, the game is up and it's time for the log to deliver. Kids beat him with sticks while intoning Christmas carols. At the end of the beating, the joy is complete. They lift the log's blanket and discover that he's pooped out a dazzling wealth of candy and gifts. His purpose served. He then gets thrown into the fire and burned like any other regular, non-fecal log falling in the forest without a sound. So, what do you think? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear it. Please support this channel and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this.